It's Friday, April 5. In the headlines, as the death toll on the island's roads rises, motorists are urged to obey road rules. Several road closures expected this weekend to facilitate Carnival Road March. Some JUTC employees restive due to breakdown in union talks. In business news, Jamaica's economy grew by an estimated 2.6%. Regionally, Guyana puts Venezuela on notice that the latest attempt to annex Essequibo will not be allowed. And in sports, Jamaica's Reggae Boys moves up in CONCACAF and FIFA rankings. This is the weekend news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. There have been over 100 road fatalities in the first 4 months of this year. That's the word from Education and Information Officer at the Road Safety Unit and Island Traffic Authority, Dante Matthews. He's urging motorists to adhere to the road rules so as to avoid fatal accidents on the road. The Education and Information Officer at the Island Traffic Authority says up to Wednesday, data showed that there have been 108 road fatalities in Jamaica. He says the most common cause is speeding.
The main causes that we've been seeing, and it's a trend, speeding with no regards to condition. So whether it rains, whether it shines, whether there is something going on the road, such as construction, people are speeding. That's the number one cause. Then we have pedestrians walking out or standing in the middle of the road. And, in Jamaica, we call it, people just running out, right, without looking the proper way. And we have drivers failing to keep to the proper traffic lane. So they should be driving on the left. In Jamaica, the first rule of the road is to keep left, pass right. But we have drivers doing otherwise and also improper overtaking.
He says it has been observed that some drivers overtake without using their mirrors or indicators.
Before you overtake, you need to check your mirrors. You need to ensure that the way is clear. Check if there's a broken line or unbroken line. It must be a broken line for you to overtake. But even though it's broken, it doesn't mean that you should just go ahead and overtake. You still have to look to see if somebody behind you is in the process of overtaking, because you don't want a collision to happen. So you have to check.
On a Sunday, 49-year-old Suzette Thomas, a housekeeper of Wildman Street in Kingston, died following a crash in Fern Gully, St. Catherine. 12 people, including 6 children, were injured in the crash. The police reported that minutes to midday on Sunday, the victims were among 23 persons traveling in a 15-seater Nissan Caravan when it crashed into an embankment.
Vehicles are designed to carry certain passengers, and the seating capacity must be adhered to. In the case of Fern Gully, that bus was a 15-seater and it was carrying over 20 persons. Overloading can be a factor in crashes, because the heavier the vehicle, the less braking capacity there is. Maneuvering as well. You have persons also obscuring vision. So you have persons maybe sitting in somebody's lap, somebody blocking the mirror, the rear view mirror of the driver. So you must ensure that seating capacities are adhered to. In 15-seaters, ensure you carry the amount for the 15-seater. In regular sedans or hatchbacks, if it's a 5-seater, you have 1 passenger at the front. In the front passenger seat, 3 at the back. Nobody should be in the trunk.
The St. Anne Traffic Department is still probing the circumstances surrounding the fatal collision that claimed the lives of 2 men and a woman on the Duns River Main Road in St. Anne on Wednesday, April 3. Commuters who travel on buses from the Jamaica Urban Transit Company Limited, JUTC, are being advised that there may be a delay in service due to possible strike action by some JUTC employees who are represented by the University and Allied Workers Union. JUTC, in a statement on Thursday, said that this is a result of the rejection of a proposed 10.5% in adjustments to premiums for health insurance coverage from Canopy Insurance Limited, scheduled to take effect on April 1, 2024. It said the UAWU refused to accept the increase, resulting in a suspension of coverage as a minimum 70% of staff enrollment is required for participation. It added that despite several meetings with union delegates aimed at resolving the matter, the delegates refused to agree to the proposed changes and the issue remains unresolved. The transport company says, quote, "We continue to work with the bargaining unit to resolve this unfortunate matter, which has been referred to the Ministry of Labour and Social Security and/or parent ministry. The Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport has been advised." End quote. In seeking to strengthen its position as the benchmark child protection entity in the Caribbean, the Child Protection and Family Service Agency, CPFSA, is to implement new programs and initiatives. One area of focus is child care facilities. Danita Rodney tells us more.
The Family Service Agency announced that the implementation of these new programs and initiatives is not only to solidify its position in the Caribbean, but to gain international recognition as a leader in the child protection sector. Speaking at AGIS think tank, Chief Executive Officer Lorette Adams-Thomas shared that one of the areas of focus is to strengthen policies and procedures governing the operation of government child care facilities.
So what we intend to do is to have a comprehensive review of the protocols, the standards of operating, looking at our various manuals with a view to ensuring that where there are gaps, we can actually bridge those gaps, identify those areas that definitely needs to be addressed, and then to strengthen the level of oversight as well that we provide to the homes to ensure that they're actually operating in accordance with the respective guidelines.
Mrs. Thomas continued saying that another focus will be the categorization of these facilities.
What we are going to be doing is ensuring that both the private child care facilities as well as those that we actually operate, that they are categorized to provide for the needs of the children within our care. So one of the things we want to do is to ensure that we create a better alignment of the services and the interventions that we will be implementing to ensure that the needs of the children are prioritized.
She gave an example of how.
So, for example, we will be having child care facilities that are categorized to focus on children who have physical challenges. We'll have other facilities that will focus on children who have other kinds of special needs, such as like autism, attention deficit disorder, just to name a few. And we will have other facilities that will focus on just providing the basic support that children will need, just to name a few.
With the new implementation, CEO Thomas says the agency will be better able to streamline skill sets and fundings that would be needed. Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I'm Danita Rodney.
The Jamaica Constabulary Force says several road closures will take effect across the corporate area at different times, beginning at 8:15 a.m. on Sunday, April 7. This is to facilitate the 3 Carnival Road marches on that day. This means that motorists should expect delays and detours along roadways in and around New Kingston, Halfway Tree, Ligani, Hope Road, Knutsford Boulevard, Trafalgar Road, Waterloo Road, Eastwood Park Road, and East Kings House Road. According to a release from the Jamaica Constabulary Force, there should be no parking in designated no parking zones or along the roadways. Illegally parked vehicles will be impounded at the owner's expense. No vending stalls or hand cart vendors will be allowed along the parade routes. Firecrackers or explosive devices are prohibited. Motor or pedal cyclists, including quad bikes, are not allowed to participate in the parades. ATVs are not allowed to participate in the parades. Souvenirs and other gratis items cannot be distributed from trucks during the parade. This week, we take another look at a community-inclusive program that is making a difference to the Bull Bay residents and students across the island. Take a look at Freedom Skate Park and get involved. Freedom Skate Park is located in Bull Bay, adjacent to the Bull Bay Football Club, approximately 8 miles outside of Kingston. Constructed between March and April 2020, the Freedom Skate Park was inspired by Andre Wildfire Thompson, a 20-year-old Jamaican skateboarder who tragically lost his life to violence in 2009. The trip to the park was a smooth one. Just a few minutes after leaving Harborview, we were already right across from the Copacabana community. I took a stroll around the park with park manager Blake Burnett before sitting on one of the many curve walls. Tell me about the persons who visit the park. Do you have like a minimum or maximum age limit? Do you have an age limit for persons who get to use the park?
No. There's very, very young. Some people will bring their little ones. And then there's plenty of people older that will skate, in their 50s, 60s.
Freedom Park's website says, based on the healthy physical opportunities, skateboarding was understood to develop participants' muscle and bone strengthening and balance, as well as a positive impact it can have on youth in teaching them mutual respect, social networking, artistic expression, and an appreciation of the environment. What if I want to learn how to skate? Do you do lessons?
Yeah, we do private lessons. And we also have skate classes that we do for the community, for the kids or, whatever age group. We also bring in kids from Denham and downtown.
Mr. Burnett oversees the park with the help of dedicated staff, skaters in their own right. They have an education program where they combine learning how to use a skateboard along with imparting life skills. They also offer counseling. He says those lessons are free, but private lessons are not.
If you want to come and just rent a board outside of our programs, it's $100 to rent a skateboard, $100 for sun protection and pads. So it's meant to be affordable for the youth. And then we get in trouble for skating on the streets. And then it's become a thing where skate parks are everywhere where I came from. And I watched that happen. And I watched all these kids and older guys like myself that didn't have that opportunity. It's like, well, now we have somewhere to be again. We have somewhere to kind of express ourselves and have some kind of physical outlet.
Fun fact, as of 2020, skateboarding is also an official Olympic sport. Freedom Skate Park offers an after-school homework program for the children in the surrounding community. They have a corner library on location, supported by a local tutor 4 days per week who assists with core subjects. The bookcases are recycled refrigerators. More than 500 children of an average age of 14 years have registered to use the park's facilities. Each member have to follow strict safety rules. Alcohol is prohibited. No foul language is allowed. No glass containers either. And participants must follow the instructions of staff. Explain to me why you decided to use your time on earth to give such a service to your community.
Well, I think it's better for the kids in the community because the community here, we have like a lot of violence all around and thing, and for the kids, I think that's bad. So with the Freedom Skate Park, we can get like a group of kids coming in together, work with each other, skate, enjoy themselves. Even elders come here to skate, babies, anybody come here to skate. So I think it's a good place for people in general. We kind of need like more space and thing for the parking and thing, because people always come in and complain about like parking and this, that. Need like more flowers and things in the place. We need people to come and like see the beauty of the park and things.
Want to contribute to the cause or learn how to skate? Contact Freedom Skate Park at Freedom Skate Park JA or pay them a visit. They are open from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. every day. In the business report, Jamaica's economy grew by an estimated 2.6% for the calendar year 2023. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica gave the preliminary estimate recently as the assessment of output in a number of industries continues. It says the growth was linked to a 3% improvement in the service industry, while 1.6% growth registered in the goods-producing industry also supported the performance. According to the Gleaner, the Bahamas National Statistical Institute reported a 2.6% increase in economic activity in 2023, bringing it back to pre-pandemic growth levels. The recovery was led by accommodation and food services, which expanded by 26%, driven by increased tourism arrivals. Air and cruise tourist arrivals improved by 24% to 9.7 million. Construction grew by 22%, resulting from increased capital investment in the country, transportation and storage by 16%, and household consumption by 8%. Export of goods and services increased by $200 million, driven mainly by tourism expenditure, representing the majority of exports of services, offsetting reduction in exports of goods. Time now for an update on the movements in the financial marketplace with Denise Williams.
During trading on April 4, 2024, the top three advancing stocks covered the insurance, technology, and advertising sectors on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Key Insurance Company Limited shares advanced 15.32% for a 34-cent price increase to close at $2.56, with 2,094 shares traded. T-Tech Limited shares advanced 13.86% for a 28-cent price jump to close at $2.30 with one share traded. The Limners and Bards Limited shares advanced 8.7% for a 14-cent increase in price to close at $1.75 with 1,449 shares traded. On the declining stocks that traders experienced on April 4, 2024, the top three losers covered the finance and wellness sectors. Cygnus Credit Investment Limited US dollar shares declined by 10.38% for a 1 US cent slide in price to close at US 7 cents with 51,168 shares traded. Access Financial Services Limited declined by 9.66% for a $2.12 price drop to close at $19.83 with 882 shares traded. Elite Diagnostic declined by 8.48% for a 14-cent decrease to close at $1.51 with 64,794 shares traded. Over on the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, trading on April 4, 2024, registered a volume of 564,222 shares, crossing the floor of the exchange valued at TT $3,090,202.01. JMMB Group Limited was the volume leader with 191,281 shares changing hands for a value of TT $288,825.19, followed by One Caribbean Media Limited with a volume of 101,650 shares being traded for TT $389,220.51. Moving from the money moves of investors, executives, and companies on the regional markets, we turn to the Forex market. On April 4, 2024, the Bank of Jamaica reported that US $23.7 million was bought from Forex traders while US $14.7 million was sold to Forex traders. Buying directly from the Bank of Jamaica, foreign currency traders sold the US dollar for $155.27 and bought the US dollar for $153.03. The difference between the buy and sell rate was $2.24, which represents a profit for forex traders for every US dollar traded. Canadian forex traders earned a trading profit of $4.64 from transactions with the Bank of Jamaica. The Canadian dollar was sold at $114.95 and bought for $110.31. For traders looking at the British pound, they pocketed a profit of $6.45, selling it for $197.47 and buying it for $191.02. For our credit report tip of the day, we're looking at if you face challenges because you're borrowing to meet